Hi, my name is Nash. Some of you guys know me as Shubham and Spurs Video Podcast. First of all, Happy New Year, and thank you for, if you are watching this, thank you for following YouTube's. Continue to following it, and if you're watching the first time, welcome, and I hope to deliver some really good insight this year. Hopefully make a marked improvement on what I normally do. First of all, great result, beating Reading 3-1. It was in doubt a little bit. Ian Hart, right, everybody remember him from back in the day when he was at Leeds. He could put in a good free kick. Excellent left back at the time. And also Aaron Lennon absolutely owned him. It was very interesting because you've got old Leeds versus old Leeds again kind of thing. But Aaron Lennon had his number and dominated the game. I thought, for me, he's definitely our player of the game. I think man of the match goes to Aaron Burridge because I think he kept Reading in the game quite a lot, and some of the saves he pulled off were absolutely outstanding. And he could do nothing but Clint Dempsey third goal. I mean, he had no hope against that. And you got to give credit to Reading, and there were 5 minutes where you are thinking, shit, they had us on the wobble. But it changed all around, and luckily for us, the game went our way. But for a while, you're thinking. One thing that I noted, I don't know if you guys have or not, is that there are times in which you think, for a bit of incisiveness, because a lot of away from home, I think we're better. With Barron and Lennon, we can attack on the counter, but when teams play part of the bus, I mean, we've seen how Chelsea did that so effectively against Barcelona. They just packed in the centre, and there's no way going through them unless you can go wide and you've got a tall striker that can knock it in. And luckily, we're able to do that. And do you know what? I mean, obviously, did we miss Bell? Yeah. I mean, Siggy, had to score from a set piece, which we are doing a bit more now. But definitely good cross in for Dawson. And Dawson cleared off the line. There were a couple of heart in your mouth moments, but I thought play well. I mean, Carl Walker defensively had a much better game today. And what I liked about Andrew Boas is that I felt Carl Norton played a little bit too deep. Because obviously Sigurdsson is not on a cut inside, and I think when you do that, you need to have someone playing a bit higher up the pitch. And Carl Norton, responded. So I thought it was a very, very thorough professional performance. I do feel so for Reading. I met some of the fans today down at the lane, and they seem like a very, very nice bunch. So and I wish them all their best, and I hope they get to stay up. Going to talk about a few other things. Sunderland, obviously the Bale, dive or lack thereof, has been done to death. So I'm not going to talk about that. For me personally, if someone sticks his knee into your leg as you're running at full flight, your chances are you can lose your balance. That's just how I see it. But I'd love to hear what you think. And player of the season, player of the season halfway through, if you want to call it that. For me, my player of the season of these 19-20 odd games, for me, has been Jan Vertonghen. I think I generally am going to give that player of the season to basically, I look at players that have come in, players that we've had, and I think who've had the greater challenge and who really stepped up to the plate. And I think, Jan Vertonghen came from a league where, Ligue 1, Premier League, is much more competitive than the Eredivisie, and especially when you're Ajax, when you are top dogs, you'll have much more of a challenge. And I think, especially with a lot of games that he's played at left back, he's done extremely well. So I can say nothing about it. I think I've been very, very impressed with his performances. And I think for me, he's been my player of the season so far. Dembele has played amazingly well, and I think if he hadn't been injured, maybe he might have got it. Hugo Lloris, had that difficulty, and I'll give credit to ADB for how he handled this. I mean, he could have just put Hugo Lloris straight in, and he thought, do you know what? No, you have to earn your place. You have to bide your time. Bradfield was doing well. I'm not going to drop him just because you've come along. You may have a bigger rep, and you potentially are the better keeper. And Super Spurs is going to probably hate me for saying this. I think he has to earn his time, and now having spent time on the bench, I think shows a bit more of really tests you as a person, tests your character, and I hate to quote Lawrenson, but he says, you know what, you only have to have one bad character in an explored dressing room, and I do believe that. I think football, is much about your character, your mental abilities as it is any physical gifts that you have. For me, in terms of the players who I think who have is the existing players, I mean there's quite a few. Obviously, JD, Sandro, and Lennon. All three of them have really improved. I mean, Lennon's shown showing his metal a lot more. I mean, there was a moment where he lost the ball, but then thought like how to get it, and that's just and his recovery is obviously using speed like like Roadrunner. Sandro, we know he's a beast, absolute beast of a player, and his energy's up and down. When he's there, he's an extra body. It's just superb. And JD, they hasn't scored the last couple of games. Had some good, decent chances, but I like to see that he's actually not getting offside as much as he used to. So I think from that perspective, I think we can take heart from that. I think AVB, I think the players are buying into his ideas, and I really believe that if we can get, I know I did this thing on Spurs Forum, .co.uk, about the idea of, we need to get a lot, what would you call it, a lock picker or the unicorn, the deep line, like the quarterback, someone who can, play that incisive pass, because I think we definitely need that when teams will pack, because either you have two choices, you either play a slip through, which, that, slip through pass, which is often very, very difficult, or you have to go wide and, put a couple of crosses in, and then it's very difficult, to defend that angle, that lateral angle there. For me personally, I thought, in terms of what we need to do, January transfer window, it doesn't be loads of speculation. I've been apparently linked to Lewis Holt, but I haven't seen the guy play. I know he's a German international, and he's been a big part of Schalke's, running in their Champions League success. So apparently we're looked to sign on a pre-contract. I personally, if terms can be agreed with someone, I would like to say, do you know what, you're going to lose him anyway at the end of the season. Chances are, you can try and do a last hurrah, but I'd rather pay the money and bring a player in of quality, really help us cement fourth. I mean, Arsenal, they're going to be pushing us all the way, and they play a Toure-less Man City in a few weeks at home, so it's going to be, they are going to be one hell of a challenge for me personally for that fourth spot. But we've had a very good fixture list. Was it 10 points out of 12? Look, and I won't deny, we've had a very generous fixture list. We've had Stoke, Sunderland, Villa, and Reading. And no disrespect to any of those teams, but they are not the toughest sides. They're not your Chelsea's, you're not your Man United, they're not your Arsenal's, Liverpool's, Everton's. Stoke, I thought Stoke could have won that game. I thought, they were they're very potential to break down. They created some chances which they were very unlucky not to score. Another day they could have gone in. We were like, oh my God, Villa Spurs out, AVB out, get rid of that Chelsea reject. Which I'm sure none of you guys have ever thought before. So very, very happy to get those 3 points. Obviously, the FA Cup coming up this week. It'll be interesting to see how he plays it, because obviously he's shown a lot of respect to the Europa League. The FA Cup is not something... Obviously, he's got an English grandmother, so I don't know how much she told him about the FA Cup. It's a competition, obviously, very dear to our hearts. We're the third most successful side in that, sadly. We used to be the first, and now we lost that to Man United and then to Arsenal. But, it's a huge part of our history, it's a huge part of our tradition, and I personally would like for us to be, to put these team out. Obviously, Coventry, memories of '87, was it nearly, 26 years ago almost. 5.5 years ago. So, older than, it's going to be an interesting clash. I don't know what team we'll put out. I'm assuming we'll play a younger side. Probably Gallas and Corker, maybe Brad Friedel, who signed a new contract. I don't know whether he was psychic or chose, because I think he signed a new contract, then Berg got fired or something, but, that was sort of, he must be thinking, dodged a major bullet there. But I think all in all, Spurs are playing very well. You can look at that and you can see what we're doing. We're not that explosive end-to-end, and we are that adventurous side that we were last season, but we haven't got the same players. We haven't got Luka Modric or Raf van der Vaart, but you can see what he's trying to do. And I think, honestly, given another 6 months, if we can keep fourth, get in Champions League, keep our best players, add some quality, I really don't see why we can't even mount a title challenge. I don't think we've got the money to it, but I definitely think third or even second could be an option, because, which is obviously in the title challenge, but it shows an improvement. And so hopefully within, maybe not a year, but within 18 months, we could be challenging for the title. I think you have to progressively. She's not going to be able to challenge for the top straight away, but I think third, second, be in that mix. And if you fall away, you fall away. But you want a title challenge, and then you use that experience and say, what did we go wrong? And then you can try and build a title challenge. But yeah, I mean, so I'm just saying, why not? I don't see it. I think we are way off from challenging the title. But third spot, you never know. I mean, Chelsea could lose their next 2 games. Arsenal could lose just all their games. But no, I think realistically, I think fourth could be ours. I think we need to sign players. I think we definitely need a striker. I mean, the fact that if we are going to 4-4-2, we need an extra striker. Obviously, we linked to Lorente. Are we going to do a pre-contract to assign? Obviously, that saves cash. I mean, if we can get a pre-contract, I don't know, that's 10 million. Obviously, go to the club, and then obviously you've got to pay agency fees, but that's still 10 million. And obviously, Holtby, I don't know how much he would have been, another 8 million or something, 8-10 million, because obviously, there's a pre-contract. Again, 20 million. If we are in fourth, that's 20 million that we can then put to a really exceptional, talented player that we can, to bring in. Hopefully, we'll keep Gareth Bale. I mean, as we saw, as Luka Modric has seen anyway, the grass isn't always green on the other side. And I'm pretty disappointed by Luka Modric did leave. I thought he was one of our best players, but he was incredibly talented. I mean, for those videos, there's a guy called John White, one of the Spurs legends, and one part of double inside. So sadly died very, very young. And but they said, Jimmy Greaves, Cliff Jones said, you know what? The nearest player to John White is Luka Modric, and he goes, he basically described Luka Modric, John White, as Luka Modric plus goals. That's just how good he was. And so we also know, so that says, I think, and John White was going to be one of our real great players. So I think that's how great Luka Modric was for us. So, a bit worried about the bile sent his way. But yeah, if we can get a couple of players in on Bosman, I'm sorry, I know someone on Spurs will hate me for saying that, but if we can do that, then yeah, I'm happy with that. Anyway, thank you so much for following YouShubes. I want to give a shout out to my boy Kevin G, and to all the Spurs fans, Mike Johnny Silman, who's was actually at the lane, and we had no idea he was going down, and so unfortunately I wasn't able to link up with him, but it was great to see Tottenham Tommy and Nick, Joe, Lisa, Debs, Nick. It was just and it's always great seeing see some Spurs. So yeah, help that as always, please FB me or tweet me, and message me on YouTube. And if you want to do a YouTube with me, please give me a shout. If you'd like to follow in the footsteps of Tim and Kev and Dom, then yeah. And yeah, so for me, a very happy new year. Please click on the ad links, please. And as always, come on, you Spurs.